Okay, this is my political video. It is regarding Compassion Forum Barack Obama Part 1. And it, as far as I know, it was on April 13th, 2008, CNN Compassion Forum, or that's where it's from. I found it on somebody's website as like a main video they liked. Don't ask who, because I'm not going to start stuff. Okay? But anyhow, this is what Barack Obama says in this video. And by the way, you can see the video on YouTube. Did I mention that? Oh. Okay, this is what he says. But the notion that someone like myself has been working in churches since I got out of college and whose entire trajectory, not just in this campaign, but long before, has been to talk about how Democrats need to get in church, reach out to evangelicals, link faith, and the work that we do. What? He says, let me repeat this, because I can't believe it still. He says, talk about how Democrats need to get in church, reach out to evangelicals. The last time I spoke to an evangelical, it was because they came over and harassed me, and they asked me if I knew who Jesus was. And I showed them the book, and I'll probably make a commercial if the publisher lets me, just to be funny. Jesus for the Rest of Us was the title of the book. It was funny. I have witnesses to that, by the way. So in other words, the last time evangelical talked to me, it was to harass me about religion and the religion I believed in, because they saw that I was evidently pagan. Do I need to get in church? I've been a registered Democrat since I was 18. So when he says Democrats need to get in church, reach out to evangelicals. No, I do not. No, I do not. And these are the words coming out of your mouth. I do not need to get in church. I do not need to reach out to evangelicals. Do you really want me going over to an evangelical church in my cloak and reaching out to them? No, I don't think you do. And I don't think they want to either. Okay. Then and by the way, I just think that's so bogus that he would just go and totally, like, pretty much commercialize a religion and say, hey, you need to come over to our side. No. Concerning God, he says, what I try to do is be an instrument of his, and I mean God's work, to act in what I think is in accordance to the precepts of my faith. So in other words, he wants to make decisions. If he's elected, he wants to make decisions for all of us based on his faith. Wow. I mean, that's just so bizarre for me. And, you know, on my favorites list, I have this video on there. I have one of his other videos on there. And they're not favorites of mine, people. YouTube doesn't have a dislike video area, so I just put them on my favorites, okay? But he talks about, on one of his other videos, about how he supports the whole voucher system program for religions and this and that. But in this video, he talks about how, he definitely wants to support the major religions of the world. And what are the major religions of the world to him? Are we talking about the fastest growing religion? Because if we are, when you look at per year and growth per year, I don't know if that would be Christianity or the evangelicals. I'm sorry, there's just too much competition. It could be even Wicca, or it could even be Satanism. We don't know. And besides that, how would you know those numbers anyhow? They never take Satanism or pagan polls hardly ever. The last one was done when I think when I was a kid, and Wicca was growing at 150,000 a year. Oh no, there was one after that, and it was growing by 300,000, as far as I know. So my point is that, is he going to make decisions for me, being a pagan? I'm not evangelical. Okay, and this is the other comment he made, and maybe some other people know about what this really means. I am my brother's keeper, and I am my sister's keeper. What does that mean? What does that mean? Well, I typed it up in YouTube, and this is what I found. www.christianityoasis.com/my-brother's-keeper, and each one of those words are capitalized, /forum, capitalized f.htm. And they say My Brother's Keeper program. My Brother's Keeper program will help you find out if you have been called to join the Christian cause in a more effective manner than you are at this time. Some Christians believe that they have been called to serve God, but do not know what they should do about it. And that's exactly what he said in the video. Kind of odd. This program will help you in discovering if you have been called, and if so, we will share with you what you should do about it. I'm not going to go on about how just like completely wrong that is. Although I could. I won't. But I will say that if anybody knows more about this my brother, my sister's keeper thing, please do tell. Then the other thing, he goes on, some of the concepts I do agree with, but this one comment is just so typical. He says about adoption that he believes in, that basically, can't talk today, to make sure adoption is an option for some people out there. Well, they already do. Adoption is an option for some people out there if you pass through their little hoops, and if you are, all the things they want you to be. Yeah, you can adopt. I personally have a big sister, actually. From when I was a kid, I had a big sister from Big Brothers Big Sisters program, and she's a geologist, and she's been very, very successful in her life, and the whole 9 yards. She can never have kids, and she finally wound up adopting, but since her newly husband, who was also a geologist, could not adopt, they had to actually go to another country and adopt some kids and bring them back. And he seemed great, like a great guy to me. So there's been several cases in Ohio, and I am from Ohio, where around my hometown, Willard, there was actually some kids that were raped by an official foster parent. So who they decide is good and who they decide is bad is not always correct. Is not correct with the outcome of what happens. Okay? And a lot of times pagans are discriminated against. That's matter of fact. I'm sorry. Factual. I myself, when I tried to basically be a foster parent to my nieces and nephews when they went into the system, and not here in Casper, Wyoming, but this was over in Ohio, I brought up the issue that I was pagan. Oh, and the conversation stopped right there. And then, of course, being the antagonist I am, I also mentioned that I had a metaphysical store. Oh, it really stopped there. So it's like, okay, well, then the system can take care of my nieces and nephews till they turn 18. And it's going to be very costly. And you better still let my sister see them. And that's what's been going on. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents out there about Barack Obama and how I'm not voting for him. Have a nice day.